Hey guys, Phil here at Woods Tree Farm. Today we are working on installing a farm gate. I'm up here further up our property near the entrance. Right behind me you can see the mulch pile over there, and it's over in this area where we park cars when we do events and when we sell Christmas trees. So we're going to put a gate right up here near the parking area, and the primary reason for this is just security, because we've gotten on camera some people who are driving down our driveway, and I don't know exactly what they're doing, but I think they're snooping around. They're curious what we got back here, and I don't want anyone seeing what we have back here and getting tempted. So we're going to put the gate further up here where people belong, and hopefully, you know, people see the gate and mind the private property signs and stay out of here. What we got here is a 12-foot gate laying in the ground over there. That's what we're going to put across the road. We're going to put some posts in the ground. I've never done this before, but I've watched a few YouTube videos, so I'm as smart as the average guy here. And here's what we've done so far. After a little over an hour's work, we have 2 holes dug that look like that. They're about 3 feet deep, and they're about 5 to 6 inches across. We dug those with a regular old manual post hole digger. The only problem is we have 7 to 8 inch posts to put in the ground, and after trying to shave these out to make them a little bit wider and spending a whole bunch of time on that, I decided it is not worth the time to do that. So I went out to the rental place and picked up this towable auger. We've got this thing now for 24 hours. We can dig as many holes as we want during that time. Hudson's there with the bit. I got a 10-inch bit. That should be plenty big enough for us to do what we want to do. So we're going to try this thing out. Follow along today. Let's have a little fun. Here we go. So this is the auger bit. That's a 10-inch, and I know this is a pretty new unit. The southern states where I rented this from just started renting tools this spring. She said this had only maybe been rented once or twice. So you can tell there's still a lot of paint on this bit. These teeth here are quite sharp, so this should have no problem chewing through our soil. That switch is turned on, right? Toggle?
Yes. What does this do?
I'll show you.
Oh, almost.
So we just want to make sure we got 3-foot holes. We cut a piece of wood to 3 feet, and we want it right at this grass line. So we just need to go down a couple inches. Plus there's a bunch of loose soil that fell on the bottom, so we're going to scoop that out. Can I take away your balance beam now? Thanks.
Do they have other balance beams over there?
Yep.
Woohoo! First pole going in.
Oh yeah, we're going to need the level out of the shed.
Oh, Hudson, run get the level, please.
So, about there is level. Let me try to pick it up and scoot it over in the hole like that. And then try to get it. Oh, yeah, there. Level. We put it in.
Yeah, put it on.
All right, here we go. So what we're going to do now, we've got the 2 main posts in. We need to get this one tamped in and level. And then we're going to put one of these brace pins through this post, and we'll drill one in part way into this post, and then we'll put the support piece in between, and then we'll run some cables. So I just measured up 4 foot 2 inches. That's where I'm going to drill my hole. I did the same thing on the other post, because we're going to put field fence on the outside of this and stretch it, and we're going to stretch it off in that direction when we eventually do that. So we want that fence to be 4 feet off the ground. We'll run into some challenges over here because we've got some slope, but here at least it's somewhat level. Like this. You'll see in a second. This post here is going to hang on that post. And for now, help guide this hole onto that post.
Up. Up. In.
Okay. Come whack on the back of this one now.
Wow.
Back right here.
Watch out, Susie.
More.
I can help
More.
this.
More.
A minute. Doesn't this look awesome? And the gate's gonna go right here and swing in.
Okay. Now this is going to be the hard part. I don't know.
Limbo.
Wait, I think. Wait, not yet. Okay. Wind up. Woohoo!
Go teamwork. Is that starting to look like a fence or what?
Yeah.
Starting to look like a limbo. It's
right.
out by like this much on the side.
Yeah, we're going to do cables on it. That's going to pull it all together. Since this post is, or since this set of posts is going to hold up the weight of the gate, and it's going to get fence stretched against it in that way, it's going to have forces on it pulling it in both directions. So I'm going to do a double brace on this. We're going to set cables in an X form, and both of them are going to get tightened up with a ratchet, which I'll show you here in a second. So I'm just banging in a couple fence staples that will run the cable through, and then I'll show you how we string these up. All right, hand me one of those ratchet things. And this is going to go this way. So this is going to go in here. And then there's going to be, this is over here.
Okay.
All right, so to catch you up, we're just figuring this out as we go. But my little red-handled wire cutters, there was actually a bunch of water in my toolbox and all my tools are rusty. And these things aren't cutting worth anything. So we grabbed these bolt cutters out of the shed, and they're a little overkill for this job, but they're doing what we needed to do. But now that we got this threaded on here, this is a little bit ugly. You should be able to wrap this around 5 or 6 times and it'll hold itself in place. And then there's a hole inside of this, and we can put this inside and put a little bend in it. And then we can start ratcheting it up. Now that it's starting to get tension, we can try to work the wires around. I should just be able to kind of push on them and get them all equalized and then take the tension out. Yeah, so you can now hear the wood is, did you hear that like big creak? Because
yeah.
the wood is starting to really compress.
Ooh.
For what?
It feels like it's like cracking the wood.
No, I think the only thing you gotta watch that I've seen before is that you can put so much tension on it, it'll lift this post out of the ground. We're not doing that yet. There's just not that much tension on it. Keep your fingers out there. I'm pushing on it.
Will it pull the staple out?
Shouldn't. But anything's possible.
I know a lot bigger, I will say that.
Alright, so we'll leave that there.
Yeah,
But that's going to make this whole thing a lot more rigid. Because remember before we could kind of move it?
Yeah.
I still move it a little bit, but that's this post.
Yeah.
But once we put the X on the other side, but this one should already be...
stay on?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This one should already be, yeah, try to move that.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the one taking all the way to the gate right now.
Which is good.
There we go. There's our double X. We can now see this thing is not moving in that direction at all. So now we can hang our gate on this side. Okay. So I'm going to set the post, or I'm going to set the gate rather, on this block of wood, and that way it'll be 4 inches off the ground. And I don't have my measuring tape on me, so I'm just going to use this to measure the distance from the bottom of the gate to the top of this pin, and that's where we'll want to install this into the post. So if I measure from there, from the bottom, it's actually right at that, so it's going to be pretty easy. I'm just going to drill my hole right here. That wasn't locked. I'm going to drill my hole right there, and then we'll thread this in. And then for the upper one, the upper hinge is adjustable, so I can loosen it and move it up and down. But once we stand the gate up on this pin, I'll figure out where the best place is to drill the hole there, and we'll do that. So I ended up, just in case you were curious, I switched to a 1/2 inch bit, and I only drilled it about halfway as deep as I needed. So I used the 3/8, went the full depth, and then half the depth I went 1/2 inch, and that made threading that in a lot easier. So now the gate's hanging on the lower pin. We got it supported on the other end by blocks. Hudson's making sure it doesn't fall over, and now I can estimate where we want to put this gate pin. This is the one that I mentioned earlier is adjustable. This pin we're actually going to want to end up putting in from above. So the one underneath went this way. This one we want to go this way so that the whole gate can't just be lifted up and moved out of the way. So that upper pin is in. You can see how it is turned down now, and the lower pin is good. The only thing I might come back and adjust later is, Stacy can show you here, there's a little bit less gap at the top of the gate post than there is at the bottom. So we could either adjust the hinge pin, we could either bring the top hinge pin in 1 or 2 turns, or we could move the lower hinge pin out a couple turns, and that'll level things. But I think I'm just going to leave it. The gate opens just fine. Let's demonstrate that. The gate opens just fine. I think we're going to end up putting a small metal post into the ground back here so that we can just tie the gate to a post right here. But it does exactly what we want it to do. And let's go take a look at it from the entrance. So there's what it looks like from the main entrance. So it's visible from the parking area. There's no reason for anybody now to turn their vehicle up in this direction and go snooping around what we got on the other side of this, which is, my shed is just on the other side of this. So that's the main reason why I wanted to get this up there. This is a good project. I'm really pleased with the end result here. The only thing you might notice is that support piece over there is a little bit off in terms of its angle, but nothing here is level in terms of slope, so it's a little tricky getting everything laid out. but we're just going to leave it. It is serving its purpose. It's going to do what we want it to do. And all in all, I think it looks fine. The whole project here came together just pretty much as we expected it. Next up, we're going to have to put up some fencing. There's a couple more holes that we're going to have to use that auger for. Since we have it here, we're going to put another post down in that direction, put another post in that direction, and we can put fencing up across this whole stretch. And once that's done, we can take down the fencing that's over there, we can take down the gate that's over there, and everything will be open from this gate down to the water, which will be awesome, because as soon as people come to our property for events, they tend to gravitate towards the water, and right now they have to funnel through the little gate that we have down there right now. So it'd be cool to have kind of that whole stretch of space open to be able to approach the water. So if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with our future videos. We got a lot going on here on our farm. We're going to be busy every weekend now until Thanksgiving weekend, or the weekend after Thanksgiving, when we open our tree lot as we get ready for Christmas season. And that's the other reason we put this gate up here, is because we're going to have our tree lot set up just on the other side of it. So hope you follow along, and hope to see you on another video here real soon. Until next time, see you later. Bye-bye.